Here we go, right back at you. This is D-Man. I've been gone for a while, but now I'm back, almost like LL Cool J. Hey, listen, a lot of stuff has happened since I've been gone, but I'm going to start off with the NFL, and I'm going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to do a couple shows today, and we'll get those online. But first, let's start off with the Dallas Cowboys. Unable to get to the Super Bowl. Voted number one. Everyone thought that they would get to the Super Bowl, and somehow or another, the Dallas Cowboys found a way to screw it up. Now, what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to help Jerry Jones walk through this process and show him exactly what needs to happen for the Dallas Cowboys to once again be relevant in the NFL. So let's start here. We all know that the Dallas Cowboys have talent on offense. So talent is not the problem. Now let's talk about what we can do with this talent, or what we were unable to do with this talent. The Dallas Cowboys have too much talent to never or just not be able to score a touchdown in any football game. That's unheard of. It's ridiculous. That should never happen with all the talent they have. So let's talk about this. What can the Dallas Cowboys do, in my opinion? Let's take a look at the running back situation. They got three good running backs. Felix Jones got a little hurt this year. He's got to come back. He's got to come back healthy, and he's got to prove that he can stay healthy. I think the big surprise of this team was Tashard Choice. Tashard Choice looks like the starting running back of this team. So that's going to give you an option that you can do something with Marion Barber. Do you keep Marion Barber, or do you put him out there as trade bait and try to get a little bit more draft picks? That's something I would think about. I would not have a problem to saving a little bit of ching-ching and moving Marion Barber somewhere else to get more draft picks and promoting Tashard Choice. Now let's look at the wide receiver situation. You got Roy Williams that you're paying a boatload of money to. Understand this. You paid the guy a boatload of money and you didn't even try to give him the football. Doesn't make sense. You got Terrell Owens on the opposite of him. You got Jason Witten. You got two young wide receivers on top of that coming off the bench. They are stacked in the receiver's position. That's not a problem. The offensive line is probably one of the better offensive lines in the game. I don't think that that's a problem. Tony Romo is your starting quarterback. Tony Romo is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Take all that nonsense that he can't win a big game, he can't do this, he can't do this. Tony Romo can't do it by himself. Now, a lot of the Cowboys offensive players are talking about the schemes. Well, let's take a look at the schemes. You know, the schemes. They weren't talking about the schemes where they're blowing people out. When they were just blowing teams out, you never heard these players talking about the lack of schemes. Understand this. That is pointed directly at Jason Garrett. Surprise? No, I'm not. Jason Garrett got paid a boatload of money by Jerry Jones to be the next, we all know it, the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you this. If you can't run the team offensively as an offensive coordinator, you can't be the next head coach of that team. Period. So you got to look at this. You have the talent. You're unable to put points on the board. You look at the last two games of the season. It was atrocious. So we have to take a look at, or Jerry Jones needs to take a look at, is Jason Garrett the guy? I tell you, in my opinion, if you got all that talent, you can't get in the end zone, you must go. So he must go. I got callers calling. It happens all the time. I'm going to keep moving forward. He must go. Jason Garrett must go. So I would terminate his contract. Now you got to look at the head coach. Let's talk about this for a second. You have a Dallas team that is loaded on offense, loaded on defense. Maybe in the secondary they need to take a look at that situation and probably put some talent back there. But I'm going to tell you this. Is this man Phillips the man for the job? They said that he's a player's coach. I don't think that team needs to have a player coach. It needs a coach in that team that's going to drop the hammer when the hammer needs to be dropped. Well, you say, well, Bill Parcells was like that, and the Dallas Cowboys didn't get to the Super Bowl. He was dropping hammers. But Bill Parcells was put in a situation where he was probably giving Terrell Owens, and he really didn't want Terrell Owens on that team. So that was probably the biggest reason why Bill Parcells left that team. Because if he can't go out shopping for his groceries, he doesn't want to be there. And I don't think Terrell Owens would ever have been taken off the shelf in a supermarket store if Bill Parcells was the head coach or was the one doing the shopping. So that's the reason why I think he's exit. Now understand this. Phillips is not the guy. He's too soft. That's not where he needs to be. He can go anyplace else and be a defensive coordinator. That's probably where he needs to be. He does not need to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So if we're going to fire the head coach and we're going to fire Jason Garrett, what are we going to do next? We have to replace him. So let me tell you something. I got the guy. At the end of the season, whether the Giants win it or whether the Giants get booted out of the playoffs, I'd go knock on Mr. Steve Spagnuolo's door and say, listen, you got some fire, you got some passion, you're exactly what I need in Dallas, and I'm giving you all the dough to come to Dallas and give you the keys. Now, that's going to make your defense that much better. It's going to fire up your team that much better. It's going to take somebody away from the New York Giants who happen to play in your division, and now you got to ask yourself, well, listen, D-Man, if I'm the New York Giants, why do I give him up? Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. I think every coach in the NFL at some time or another wants to be a head coach, no matter what. This is the job for him to take. If he does not take this Dallas job with all the talent it has on offense and all the talent it has on defense and with an owner like Jerry Jones who wants to win every year, then he does not need to be coaching in the NFL, period. Okay? Doesn't need it. Unless, of course, he's going to take over the New York Giants. After I secure Steve Spagnuolo, I'd go after Mike Martz. Let me tell you something right now. He made the Detroit Lions offense relevant. Mike Martz did. He's making the San Francisco 49ers offense relevant. Now, the word on the street is Michael Singletary may not want to keep Mike Martz, which is a blessing for the Dallas Cowboys. They bring Mike Martz in. I don't think you're going to hear any screaming and hollering about the schemes. Because if he can put the Detroit Lions in the end zone like he was able to do, if he's able to put the San Francisco 49ers in the end zone like he's able to do, I don't think Mike Martz is going to have a problem getting the Dallas Cowboys in the end zone. Listen to me, Jerry Jones. This is just my opinion. It's your team. You can do what you want to do. But I'm telling you this right now. If you make that move right there, Steve Spagnuolo, head coach, Mike Martz, offensive coordinator, your Dallas Cowboys will go to the Super Bowl. Your Dallas Cowboys will be unbeatable. This is D-Man. That's my opinion, and I'm closing it out. Good to be back.